What's going on, everybody? It's Cash Sports. You already know what's going down. So, for those that might not know, who's just tuning in, so Cash Sports is a platform anybody can hop on. We like to talk about what's going down, particularly, in the sports world, basketball, football. We can even get into boxing if we really try to. If you guys haven't noticed, there's a link in the comment section. If you guys want to tune in, if you guys want to, give your input on whatever I'm talking about, you guys can always tune in whenever. I'm always ready. If anybody want to have a quick chat, you already know it's Cash Sports. You already here. I'm down to talk about anything. So let's talk about, you know, what's been going down these past couple days. Um, Basketball. So start with the Lakers. Lakers is one of the most pristine franchises, not only in basketball but in all sports. And they seem to be having a lot of trouble. Even though they got LeBron James, one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and seems like they're in a little situation right now. They're trying to get Russell Westbrook. They're trying to trade Russell Westbrook, but it seems like teams, they don't want to really give the Lakers, cahoots. They don't want to, let them slide. The headlines is saying, if we get Russell Westbrook, we want both the 2027 and the 2029 trades. And from what I hear, Jeannie Buss ain't with it. She doesn't want to give up the Lakers' future for LeBron's present, even though with LeBron playing right now, being on this roster, and the fact that he's going into his 20th year, he doesn't have a lot of time left. Even though it's LeBron James, we've seen him ball for a hell of a long time. So, it's a little different, to see the king might be on his last steps. I'm not saying, just this year. I'm not saying, he's going to fall off a cliff, they might say. But it does come to our attention that, LeBron won't be playing this sport forever. It's sad to say, sad to see. But I think, we should just give him his props, while he's still playing, especially, with this upcoming season. He's gonna break that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar record. He only needs I think 16 points. He only needs to average 16 points to break that record. So it's really nothing for somebody like LeBron. I mean, I don't see him going into this new season, not averaging those numbers. So he's gonna get it. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. But as the team as a whole, Russell Westbrook just doesn't want to stay there. He doesn't want to be a Laker anymore, and I think it's for good reason. He didn't really fit into the play style, into what was going on with the Lakers. Obviously, if you playing on a team with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, I think he got a lot of heat for what was going on in Lakers organization. Part of that, I feel like a big part of what was going on was, due to Russell Westbrook's play, and also, his press conferences, I may say. I think it's another thing when you're not playing well, but I think he added on a lot of heat by by saying the things that he was saying out there. Not to say, he should have been crucified, for saying for saying the things that he said on the platform. But a lot of it, if you tap into these shows, if you're watching what these people are saying, it's just a lack of accountability. And we got to be honest here, man. Russell Westbrook, he didn't play well. He didn't play well as the third option on the Lakers. And typically, if you're a third option, traditionally, it's either you rebounding, you defending, you spot up shooting. If you look at those teams that LeBron played on, where he won a championship, I think the Lakers were probably the only team where he won a championship, and he didn't really have that third guy. Anthony Davis kind of made up a lot of that, and not to mention, there was Dwight Howard, Alex Caruso, Rajon Rondo. You had a lot of help at that time to kind of fill in that role, fill in that void. So, they had a really good reason to win the championship. I mean, it was a good team. But now, Russell Westbrook obviously turns the ball over, doesn't shoot particularly well, sags off defense, tries to get rebounds. I mean, I'm not trying to beat the guy up here, but this is just what's happening. We watching the tape, we watching him play. I think I stated earlier in one of my recent videos where I had went to Lakers and OKC. This was like in the beginning of the year. I think some of you guys might remember. They were going against OKC for the second time after being blown out the first time. Or not even blown out. I think the Lakers were blowing them out. And the Lakers or OKC came back to beat them. And basically it just happened that second go around. I was live in that game. I was live. It was there. They was down. Miller was shooting from Trey. He was lights out. I think he was like 40% or 50% that day. And Russell Westbrook just decided to take things for himself. He tried to like lay up the ball, or I don't know what was going on, but the ball went to the stands. It was like maybe an assist to the stands, assist to Jeannie Buss, assist to Rob Pelinka. I don't know. But they lost, due to that mistake. And so, that one play kind of summed up, what was going on really with the Lakers all year. Mistakes, no shooting, no defense. And I think even to an extent, they were slacking in rebounds. Their big men weren't really as effective. AD was shooting poorly from three. I think it was 17%. And DeAndre Jordan, man, it's not the same player that we saw on the Clippers. I think since that time when he played on the Nets and went against Giannis, he was a consistent starter. And ever since that time, Giannis put in that work. And since then, I mean, Steve Nash was benching him. That's why he wasn't playing on the Nets. I forgot what team he was on afterward. But, I mean, fact of the matter is, Lakers didn't have no really good big man. Dwight Howard was past his prime. Clearly, it's not the same Dwight Howard from, he played on the Magic. We haven't seen that Dwight Howard in a long time. So, just to sum it all up, it's looking really slim. It's looking really slim for the Lakers. I mean, they've been trying to get this Kyrie trade to go down for quite some time. But I don't blame the Lakers, or I don't blame Lakers management and Jeannie Buss for not taking the Kyrie trade. Me personally, I would take it. I think having that 18th title is worth the shot. Um, but that's just me. I ain't no GM, so give or take. But why I say I understand why the Lakers wouldn't do it. I mean, simply because it's Kyrie Irving. Anybody would want Kyrie Irving on their team in terms in in terms of basketball. But I'm a Nets fan, so I'm be honest with you. Um, it was pretty disappointing to have this brother barely play. He got all type of. He's like that guy that always got like a doctor's note. When it's time for gym. When it's time for everybody to go on, get down, play dodgeball. Shoot some hoops, whatever. Kyrie Irving, that guy that got that doctor slip saying, I can't play. And so the Lakers, with all the media that circulated around Westbrook and LeBron and AD, and with everything going down, that would definitely be negative publicity if Kyrie had something going on the Lakers. But give or take, he's still on a contract year. Kyrie Irving is still trying to get paid. So I feel like if for any other year, for Kyrie to really ball out, I mean, hey, this is a year. I mean, he opted in clearly because I don't think anybody in their right mind that's not in their right mind, would decline a $30 million contract. But he opted in. Clearly the market for Kyrie uh, wasn't sufficient enough to let go of Kyrie. But Kyrie's opting in. He's ready. He's trying to ball. He's trying to get that last big deal. So, I don't blame him. But he just needs to show out. That's all it is, man. Kyrie just needs to get on the court, play basketball. Stop with the hoo ha and this earth is flat stuff. We don't want to hear none of that, bro. If you want to have like a little clubhouse talk, things like that, you want to have a TED talk, we tap in, bro. Let people on to the books that you're reading, because we need to find out where you're getting all this stuff from. But just do that. We just want to see Kyrie play basketball. I think everybody can agree on that we want to see Kyrie play basketball, because nobody wants to see all that ish where he's playing. I mean, he already doesn't play enough games. Plays like 50, 60, 40 games. I mean, he gets hurt a lot. So it's just reached a point now where it's like, just chill, Kyrie. Just play basketball, bro. Real talk. Like just play. Like you got this man KD wanting to leave the Nets now. James Harden, wasn't with the ish from the beginning, so he dashed out. So now if KD leaves, even though that whole market situation with KD is very slim, because if I'm the Nets too, I'm not giving up a lot of things for KD. There's only so much you could give, or there's only so much you can give for a player like Kevin Durant. Typically what you hear is, the team that gets the best player typically wins the trade, and I feel it applies in this situation too. But except the Nets, they trying to dismantle, whatever franchise is willing to do the trade. Bottom line, you're not getting Kevin Durant for nothing. They're not going to just give picks and role players for Kevin Durant. They want a star. Bottom line, they want a star. And that's plain and simple. Plain and simple. I think the only exception was with the Nets was just the fact that they wanted those two picks from the Lakers in order for the Kyrie and Russell Westbrook trade to go down. Um, and clearly, I think the Nets weren't too interested in Russell Westbrook. I mean, for good reason. I mean, because Kevin Durant is on the team, and they got their own little history going on. And I don't think Kevin Durant would, be excited to have somebody like Russell Westbrook based off the season that we had just seen. So that's that. You know, I think really the only good thing here is if this trade were to go down, if Kyrie were to reunite with LeBron James. And I think I wouldn't say for LeBron because, LeBron already got his championship after Kyrie left. But this is more for Kyrie. I think Kyrie, if he were to get back with LeBron, I think it's more for him, I think on the ball court, it's just like Kyrie Irving just desperately tries to be a leader. And it's not like I'm sitting here and I'm saying like he's not. I mean, I played a team sport. So just from the outside looking in, I just don't see Kyrie as that leader. I mean, you've seen it in the Nets. I mean, people who weren't even on the team were saying that the Nets lack leadership, and but I'm pretty sure if you looked at Kyrie and you spoke to Kyrie, he'll tell you to your face like, I'm the leader of this team. Like, I'm the captain now. You know what I'm saying? So, and it was just a recipe for failure. Kyrie Irving. I mean, he's a pretty big personality, but you just gotta let things. You gotta pass things off to the star of the team. It's not like Kyrie Irving isn't a star, but I mean, we heard what was going on. We seen the news, we seen the headlines. Whenever something was going on with Kyrie, guess whose name was in the mix also? Kevin Durant. I think that's one of the biggest things that was really, hurting KD was the fact that he was tied to Kyrie, and Kyrie was, doing the things that he felt like he needed to do. And that really brought KD down. That really, shut him in the bad light, because it's like, KD chose to go to Brooklyn with you and to not be given that same level of commitment. And so based off these two teams, with the Nets and the Lakers, they were obviously favored to win, or to be in the championship for the past 2 years. None of that seemed to happen. LeBron and the Lakers didn't go to the finals these past 2 years. The Nets never went to the championship these past 2 years, not even close. So we're looking at, the downfall of everything, the after effect. Lakers, obviously, they're trying to, like we all know, they're trying to get rid of Westbrook, and the Nets are just trying to get their franchise back. So I don't know if we'll ever get to see these two teams, battle it out in the championship. I think we're past that stage. I don't think this happening. It's not happening. Lakers and Nets in the finals. LeBron and KD. That's so far from the truth. It's not even realistic at this point. I mean, but even though I think the Nets, they got a very valid squad. Hey, who's ever in that chat, man, drop that like. You see the link in the comment section. If you want to tap in on anything that I'm chiming into, hey, you can welcome to the conversation. I can use somebody to have a quick chat. What was I talking about? I'm sorry about that. Hey, but if anybody sees this, drop that like though. So back what I was saying, but yeah, I think we're far from seeing that. Um, but with the Lakers, so yeah, with the Lakers, I don't know where they go from here. I really don't, because it's you got LeBron on last year of his deal. Anthony Davis, I can't tell you from the top of my head um, where he's at with his contract. You know, it's no surprise that Russell Westbrook is on the last year of his deal. And then you got a bunch of guys that's on 1 year deals. You got a couple of rookies here and there, but it's Lakers, man. They got a rope wrapped around their neck. I mean, they salary cap is tight. You know, they really don't have no roster space. It's what do they do? What do the Lakers do? What is that? And so, I mean, I feel like there's no better way to just go all in. You have no choice but to. Like I said, I would do it. I would go all in. I'll make that Kyrie trade happen in a heartbeat. I mean, I would try to sweeten the deal. I wouldn't try to give the Brooklyn Nets everything that they want. But one of the trades that I think the Nets had offered the Lakers were Kyrie Irving, Joe Harris, and a first round pick. I was talking to one of my guys, and I agreed. I think that was probably the best trade on the table. I mean, Joe Harris ain't exactly known for uh, being a game changer, but Kyrie is. And then, with Joe Harris, in addition, with LeBron's passing ability and the way he can get guys looks and get guys open, um, I think Joe Harris would be very complimentary. And the Lakers could use some shooting. And at that point, I think with defense, I think that just comes with mentality and coaching. So uh, hopefully Russell Westbrook could lead the charge on that whole defensive assignment if he's still on the team. But yeah, they Lakers just need to go back to that championship defense that they once had uh, when they were competing for a chip. Because that was one of the special things about the Lakers at that time was they guarded up. They had one of the best defenses in the league. I mean, and for good reason. You know, Anthony Davis, before he even went into the league or his first year in the league, AD was more so a rim protector. I don't think a lot of people remember this. I mean, if you don't, Anthony Davis was more so a rim protector than anything, and then his game blossomed into what it is today. The whole shooting thing. I mean, he didn't shoot too well from three last season, shooting 70%, like I said before. But he's had some prior seasons where he shot way better than that. Um, but as you can see, Anthony Davis has become more, he plays facing the basket now, not as much as, back to the basket or post game. Anthony Davis is more of a, dribble in front of you type of guy, get to the rim. And do I think it fits? Do I think, that's his game? I mean, that's not really for me to say. I think he plays really well. I just think he just had a bad season and shot poorly. But AD got to turn it up a notch, man. For real, for real. I think we can agree like AD needs to take the mantle from LeBron James. Plain and simple. He's the younger guy. He's more than likely the best teammate to have ever played with LeBron James. And yes, I'm well aware of Dwayne Wade, playing with LeBron James. But Dwayne Wade has the best career out of all of LeBron's teammates. But in terms of skill, in terms of, the player itself, and what they bring to the game, I think Anthony Davis is on top of that list. His size, defense, rebounds, scoring ability. AD is pretty much the whole package. But now it's we just gotta see him, grow into what we know he could be. Um, and obviously his biggest obstacle is his injuries. Hopefully, we've seen a lot of headlines with AD, getting his body right. Rob Pelinka even came out and said that this was Anthony Davis's like hardest off season. He was like going in. So I mean, hey, we got to see it to believe it, because with Anthony Davis and we've seen him bulk up last year, and guess what? He was still brittle as broccoli. I mean, he, anybody ever seen the comeback with ACL tear? That's exactly like AD. He steps on a freaking sunflower, and he tears his ACL. So that's how we look at Anthony Davis. That's he's just always getting hurt, and I can understand like how he can feel some type of way or offended at something like that. But hey, as fans, as reporters, as media, we call it like we see it. It's just the truth. And I think he didn't help himself by saying, "Hey, I haven't touched the basketball in 3 months," or something like that, which was very poor. Because people were looking at you like, "Hey, like you wasn't shooting, bro. You sucked." So, uh, fact of the matter is, man, it's AD that got to lead this team, man. It can't be LeBron going into his 20th year. Uh, it's just not going to work out that way. LeBron can still give you probably like 21, 23, 24, maybe even 25 in this season, and probably still lead the league in assists. But AD has to be able to rack up them points. We can't see the Anthony Davis that we saw last year. He had career lows. We need career highs. Hey, look, I'm gonna say it right here. Anthony Davis, in order for him to fulfill the role that he was destined to have, this man needs to average at least 25 and 10, man. 26 and 10, 27 and 10. Hey, as long as 25 plus points and 10 plus rebounds. The assist, I mean, we could lead that to LeBron James. I think 3 assists suffice. Obviously, add in some of that defense there. But that's that's what we think AD should be doing. Those are the type of numbers that he should be putting up. So I think it's clear cut. With the Lakers, they just need to find a situation out of this Russ deal, or Russ needs to make it work. Make it work. I mean, that's the only viable solution if he's still on the team. But that's really another situation on its own. With the whole, he fired his agent. He was trying to, convince Westbrook, like, stay on the team. This is the best option for you. You gotta adjust. I just think he just wasn't hearing it. He just wasn't here for all that talk. I think, man, it's a crazy situation, man. It is. At some point, you just got to feel bad about the whole situation because it's like, Russell Westbrook is from LA, and to be at some of these games or to hear and watch some of these games where he's about to shoot a three and everybody's telling him, no, don't shoot, don't shoot. I mean, this is your home crowd. Your home crowd is telling you not to shoot a tray. I've never seen something like that before. I've never seen something like that before, ever. Like, they're booing you for taking that shot. Like, that's crazy. And I don't know what it is with his shot. Like, I'm look, I'm not sitting here. I'm some 3-point specialist. Like, I ain't going to no wreck draining threes, but but goddamn, like, this is like a 6 year a 6 year shooting slump for this cat. Like, like, come on now. And it's like when he shoots, it's like he's always late on his jump shot. Like when you hold the button too long in 2K, and that's his release. That's Russell Westbrook's release. He shoots too late. Like the way he jumps, the way he throws the ball up. It's like, I don't even know. I think he prays. I think he prays every time he shoots the ball. Like, I don't even know when he finds time to pray because he just shoots it up so fast. But hey, let me stop clowning, man, because let me start clowning this man jump shot. You know. But yeah, man, if this thing with the Lakers is gonna work out, he just needs to. Russell Westbrook just needs to manifest his third option role, and just listen to his coach. So let me switch it back to KD. This whole Kevin Durant situation. So I know recently there's been a lot of trade talks. Kevin Durant. From what is being said, I think Kevin Durant doesn't mind being in Brooklyn, but he doesn't want to play with Kyrie Irving again. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying on ESPN, Fox Sports. Hey, I tap in every morning, and yeah, that's what's going on. I think KD just doesn't want to play with Kyrie Irving no more, and he wants to move on. This whole thing with the Nets is like upside down. It's like been like 2-3 years of just mediocrity. Last year it was, they managed to come close, but obviously we know about like that shot with Kevin Durant and James Harden hamstring, Kyrie was hurt. I mean, we didn't see this team play. I mean, let's be honest here. We didn't see this team play. This team didn't play at all. I mean, they play like what, 16, 15 games together. There's 82 games in a season. 82 games. And they played 16 games together. That's not even a team, bro. That's not even a team. I mean, if you look at all these teams that's in the finals or that managed to get to the finals, what do they have in common? They play since the off season. They mesh together in the off season. I mean, if you think about a team like the Warriors and the Celtics, I mean, give or take, even though the Warriors were hurt for a good portion of the season, I mean, but it's still their core. For the most part, those guys were playing together. Either they were hurt or they were playing. Fact of the matter is, a team like the Warriors, they're gonna play. They're gonna play together. They're gonna mesh together, and they played perfect team basketball. Clearly it showed. With Steph leading the helm, Draymond Green being on the vanguard, being on the front. He wasn't the best statistically, but I mean, hey, he does his job. He guards up. He takes the hardest defensive assignment. So everybody knows their role. Everybody is doing their thing. Nobody's trying to take more off the table. Nobody's trying to eat off somebody else's plate when it comes to the Warriors. Celtics, I mean, in the beginning of the season, that we were saying if they should break up, if Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown should even be playing together. Should they trade those guys? And now that talk is still in a way, happening today. But the Celtics, man, we've seen that core they've played for a very long time, like Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown. Even to an extent, Al Horford, because Al Horford was on the team a couple years ago. Obviously bounced around to some other teams, but made his way back around to the Celtics. And so basically, bottom line is, if you're going to go to a championship, if you're at least going to get to a championship, you guys got to go there as a team. And with the Nets last year, they just weren't that. They weren't a team. It was just a collection of individual players who can play basketball really good. And every game that they played, it was either pass to Kevin or see who else is going to get open. I mean, that's what I saw. I didn't see no switcheroos. I really didn't see no coaching adjustments like that. You had some guys on the bench. I think Blake Griffin barely played the Celtics series. You had LaMarcus Aldridge on there. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, even though LaMarcus Aldridge is old, I mean, hey, give it a chance. Like, why not? Why would you not play, LaMarcus Aldridge? You got Claxton. I'm not saying Claxton is a good player too, but sometimes, I mean, look, the Celtics got Al Horford playing, and he's an old player. Al Horford played with LaMarcus Aldridge, and LaMarcus Aldridge was a better player during Al Horford's time. So, why not give it a go? They're beating them with size anyway. They're being physical. So with Kevin Durant, last year was clear failure. And even though a lot of people might give him, the business now because he's asking for a trade and they're saying he's a follower and this and that. But look, even last year wasn't KD's fault. Besides the fact that he didn't play well. Well, actually, no. There's one thing you could really say was Kevin Durant's fault. It was the Kyrie Irving situation. He didn't lead that team. That's the biggest thing. I'll give that part. But in terms of, playing on the court and doing his thing, I mean, Kevin Durant was an MVP candidate. Like, Kevin Durant was balling. He had peak numbers. He was damn near ready to have another 50, 40, 90 season. So. But clearly, it just didn't seem to work out. We already know about the whole, Kyrie Irving and the vaccine situation, and then the scenario with James Harden. So now we're seeing all of that karma from the Brooklyn Nets. It's just running back around. That's all it is. All them picks that they gave up, that whole situation, which is everything, man. Like, and it's like with the Brooklyn Nets, they were in so much headlines besides winning. They were in all the headlines that you can imagine. Kyrie Irving not playing. Kyrie Irving, no vaccine. Kyrie Irving, the earth is flat. KD won't brush his hair. James Harden keeps stepping back. It's it's one thing after another. Uh, and it just didn't work out. And so I think KD is telling himself, look, I don't see myself winning championship here. And so I gotta leave. But the biggest problem is Kevin Durant signed a 4-year extension and he's requesting a trade. As we all know from the Ben Simmons situation, teams are very reluctant to trade away their one of the best players. I mean, in the Nets case, Kevin Durant is their best player or the best player, however way you want to put it. But yeah, if I'm the Nets, I'm not really taking Kevin Durant's trade too serious. Like, just the Nets basically they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. Hearing trades out, see what they can get. See what teams are offering, and to no surprise, I mean, there's the market is slim, but a part of that is because the Nets set unrealistic expectations in regards to the Kevin Durant scenario. So they want the whole ham. They want the whole thing. If it's the Suns, they want Devin Booker. If it's the Heat, they want Jimmy Butler and probably Tyler Hero. If it's the Raptors, they want Pascal Siakam. I mean, it goes hand in hand, and they have very good reason to ask for all of those players. They're not tripping. I mean, hey, why not? Hey, I'm not going to just give you Kevin Durant, especially with the Celtics. The Celtics, I think the Nets were playing that trade smooth. They were playing smooth. They were playing it smooth because they were the ones leaking the stories out, about what the Celtics wanted to give for the Nets. And I mean, they're division rivals. They play each other more often than not. And so it's almost like they're pressuring the Celtics to either make a move or not. Now, if they do or they don't, if they don't, I mean, Jaylen Brown, I could definitely say, is going to look at him a little sideways. I don't, but in his situation, I think, really all he has to do is ball to kind of prove him wrong because, I mean, Jaylen Brown puts up some very good stats. He's a great player, man. He's some stats even better than, Jason Tatum. He had in the 2022 NBA playoffs, Jaylen Brown had the most points that season, most fourth quarter playoff points in the 2022 NBA playoffs. And he averaged 7 points in the fourth quarter, and he was shooting 50% from the field and from three. So me personally, I don't know what the Celtics are trying to do. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it if I were the Celtics. Because why would you want to trade Jaylen Brown for? He just came off series where he had the best numbers on that team, and he's shown that he could play on the championship squad. The Celtics, it's not like they couldn't win that series. It's just that they just got beat by the better team, plain and simple. And so, like I said, if I'm the Celtics, I'm not doing that trade. I mean, even though I got Kevin Durant for 4 years, I mean, who's to say he's even going to play all those 4 years? I mean, Kevin Durant got the injury bug just like any other player out there, So I'm not going to give up Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant. I'm sorry. I'm not giving up Jaylen Brown for Kevin Durant because even though Kevin Durant, he got a 4-year deal and you got him locked down, he could probably play two out of those 4 seasons. And Jaylen Brown, you can give him the bag. You can probably pay him less money than Kevin Durant, but they might have to up. They might have to re-up that that price now, because Jaylen Brown might try to come out next season, try to ball, and try to ask for the big bag. Uh, but yeah, man, it's just with the whole Kevin Durant thing. It's really too risky. It's really risky because I think if Kevin Durant weren't injury prone, I think teams would be willing to throw the whole bag in a heartbeat. They would be willing to do that. But I think that with that in the back of their minds, I think that's what's ultimately stopping them, or stopping certain teams from really laying down the gavel on this trade. I think that's what it is. I think teams, even though they know what type of player they're getting out of Kevin Durant, it's not a sure thing to have him on your team and to have championship aspirations. Even though you do, any team, hey, look, any team Kevin Durant is on is a championship ready team. But that doesn't say that, that doesn't even guarantee an Eastern Conference Finals. With LeBron, it's a completely different scenario, completely different thing. Any team, or for the most part, any team LeBron was on had championships aspirations, championship or bust, as he said. I mean, KD is a player who's in that conversation, but I mean, he had some crossroads in front of him. I mean, Giannis gave him some work. I mean, look, KD got some problems with Giannis now. He look, KD ain't going through the East like the way LeBron was. I'm gonna just say that now. It's not happening like that. No, he got some squad face, and the Bucks, they're not going anywhere. So in the Heat, they're already a physical team. They've already seen what the Celtics done. Celtics not going anywhere neither. I mean, they got the biggest rap sheet on Kevin Durant. I mean, what's the Celtics coach? I forgot his name. Coach Idris Alba. uh, he played. I think he played against Kevin Durant. He coached Kevin Durant. It was like a bunch of different scenarios where he was involved with Kevin Durant. Jason Tatum. I mean, he's played against Kevin Durant so many times. So, and not to mention they lost last year in the first round against the Brooklyn Nets, and then that's when the Brooklyn Nets lost to the Milwaukee Bucks in the second round. So with that being said, I mean, the Celtics were not looking at this series, and with everything that the Nets were doing and going through, they weren't gonna look at this situation and be like, okay, we're not gonna be sent home by the same team that sent us home last year. I think that was their mindset. And so now that the Celtics had a taste of being in an NBA Finals, I mean, they're just another team that you got to get by too, And now with the addition of Malcolm Brogdon, a player who's, known to be really efficient from the field, who can shoot, who's had a 50, 40, 90 season, is a great addition to the team. And they still kept, their team for the most part. So you got the Heat, with that being said, hopefully they can stay healthy, because really I think with the Heat, they were just injured in their conference finals. And I think that's what ultimately stopped it from being as competitive as we would have liked it to be. Or I wouldn't even say that, because it was still like a game 7, and it came down to like one shot. All right, it was with Jimmy Butler. But I mean, if Kyle Lowry was even somewhat healthy, or if Tyler Hero was playing, because he was missing like most of that series. I think he played like 2 games. So that series really could have went either way. I mean, if either team got lucky. It just seems that the Celtics were the luckiest team in the East. Everybody was healthy, everybody was playing, and it just went in their direction. Because the same situation could be said about the Milwaukee Bucks. If Chris Middleton was playing, hey, who's to know what would have happened, you know? Um, and I think if Chris Middleton was healthy, the Bucks would give any team in the playoffs work. I think if the Bucks were going against the Warriors, hey, that I don't think the Warriors coming out of that series alive. So because Giannis is a freak, literally. I mean, no pun intended, but he's a beast. He's a beast in the paint. And that would be a lot for Draymond to handle. So I think, yeah, man. I just think KD right now he's just looking like he might have his work cut out for him in the East. I wouldn't say he's running, but a lot of people are. But it definitely looks like he's running from the Eastern competition. Even though the story went out that it's just that he doesn't want to play with Kyrie. But with this whole KD situation, I think the best viable solution for KD is to just play it out, man. Give the Nets one more year. Give them one more season, bro. Give them one. Give us one full year with you playing with Kyrie. James Harden is not there anymore. Give us one full season. We're playing with Kyrie and Ben Simmons with the roster they got, and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. I want to see that team. For real, I think that's a really good team. I think anybody who would be saying otherwise is wrong. That's a good team with a team like Kyrie, KD, Ben Simmons, Patty Mills, Seth Curry. I mean, that's a good team. I think Ben Simmons would have to carry a huge defensive anchor, but I feel like they can make some things work. I think the biggest thing that I have question about in regards to the Brooklyn Nets is a coaching. I think Steve Nash is a good coach, but I don't think he's a great coach. I'm just being honest here. I just don't see him competing with some of these with some of these coaches who've been in the thick of things. Ime Udoka. He clearly showed that he was out coaching Steve Nash, and same thing happened with the Bucks. And in situations like this in the playoffs, it's a whirlwind of things. It's almost anything that can win or lose you the game. The coaching can win and lose you the game. Your star can win or lose you the game. Your role players can win or lose you the game. And that I feel like with the Nets, that was just one of the reasons why this team just wasn't working out. But there's still hope. There's still championship aspirations for this team. KD, just ball, man. Just do what you gotta do. And hey, tell your boy Kyrie too, man. He got a ball too. If y'all gotta tie him up, put him in the trunk just to bring him to practice. Hey, I mean, I ain't saying do all that, but hey, just let him know if you want that 100 mil, hey, tap in, Kyrie. Start balling, you better start Uncle Drewing, because that's really one thing you got at this point if you're trying to make that, if you're trying to get that contract, and And I'll be the first one to say, hey, Kyrie Irving deserves that money, if and when he goes in the court and ball. And I think he is going to ball. I think he is going to come out. He's going to show out. He's going to do his thing to show that, he earns the money. It's just the fact that, is he going, do whatever it takes to keep that money? But I'm not going to get into that. That's not really for me to say. But yeah, man, that's how I feel, about that KD situation. It's a mess, but just play, just ball, see where it goes. See where it goes from there. I mean, hey, you signed a contract for 4 years. You might as well see where it goes. If you didn't feel that way, you shouldn't sign the contract, KD. It's just how it is, man. It's just how it is. Hey, man, if any of y'all tuning in, drop a like, subscribe to CashSports. I'm here late night. I'm out here. I'm streaming. I'm here talking about this. I'm here talking about the NBA. Like I play this. But nah, I just love it just like you all do. You guys see the link in the comment section. I'm gonna keep dropping that StreamYard link in the comment section, just in case anybody wants to tap in. Subscribe, man. I'm only trying to build. I'm only trying to get it where it needs to be, because I wanna have a whole empire where I'm just having guys, tap in and talk about the stuff with me, man. I want to have somebody to engage with, to see, what's going on, what they think about this and what they think about that, So, y'all see that Cash App too. If y'all want to chime in, y'all want to drop something on me, I'll take that. I'll take whatever y'all can get. I ain't picky, man. Just throw whatever you can. I eventually, by the way, to all my subscribers, to all the viewers, eventually, when this starts to grow a little bit more, I do want to, support people who just watch my channel and who stay with my channel. But it's still coming up for sure. We all got to start somewhere. We all got to do the things needed so we can grow and be competitive in a world like this, because a lot of things, hey man, it's crazy out here, for real. But yeah, man, this is CashSports. I'm Cash, obviously. And I love this, man. I love sitting here. I love talking to y'all. I love sitting here and just talking about whatever. I can say whatever right now. I wouldn't give a damn, but I do care. I do care about what's going on. I do care about this, the sports that we're watching, man. It leaves a good feeling. Makes everybody feel good. When we talk about the things that inspire us and that make us, gives us joy, laughter, things that all that sweet shit. But yeah, man. If y'all watch this, drop that like. Subscribe to the channel. Donate if you guys are feeling nice. But this is CashSports. Tune in or stay tuned for the next video. Every video is particularly random. We could be talking about the things that's going on the daily. We could be having random conversations. We could be having virtually kind of any topic. Whatever you see, you just kind of lock in and chime in, and you just gotta see what's going on in order for you to kind of grasp what we're talking about, or what I'm talking about for the most part. Let me see if I got anything else. No, man, I think that's about it. Yeah, I'm almost about to hit this hour mark, so I think I'm about to let you guys go. So for those who watch, thank you. I appreciate you guys watching. And this is CashSports. So Hey, thank you for dropping that like. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You know, uh, like I said, this is Cash Sports. I appreciate anybody, who's tuned in, who chimed in, who dropped that like. Please subscribe, because guess what? If you subscribe, you get that notification and you get to join me on conversations like this. Man, I ain't asking for nothing. I ain't, you know what I mean? I'm asking for stuff. I'm asking for stuff from you guys, man. But the payment stuff, that's optional. That's optional. But when it comes down to this, when it comes down to, having these conversations, uh, in regards to these topics, man, I ain't asking for nothing, man. Just chime in, just respect the platform. That's all it is. All right, just respect the platform. Obviously, respect me because I'll cut it. If you talking crazy out here, but because this is something I work for. But yeah, man. So I'm gonna leave here in a sec. This is Cash Sports. Thank you for tuning in. Stay tuned for the next video. Thank you.